President Trump has promised to make America the crypto capital of the world.
This afternoon, I'm laying out my plan to ensure that the United States will be the crypto capital of the planet and the Bitcoin superpower of the world.
To do this, he suggested eliminating capital gains tax on cryptocurrencies made by American companies, and some have reported that he may have the federal government buy cryptocurrencies made by American companies to create an America First crypto reserve. In this video, we'll talk about two things. First, how does Trump or anyone decide what an American cryptocurrency is? And second, why I'd argue that Zcash should be at the top of anyone's American crypto list. First, what counts as an American cryptocurrency? Answering this is not necessarily that simple. Usually, the whole point of cryptocurrency is to be decentralized and not belong to any one country. So as long as the country you're in hasn't banned or blocked it, you can hold and use a cryptocurrency, you can write software to build on top of a cryptocurrency, and many cryptocurrencies, you can actually run the cryptocurrency network by mining or staking. So if a cryptocurrency can be used or run by people from all over the world, what might make a particular cryptocurrency American? Well, despite their decentralized nature, many cryptocurrencies have companies supporting them. For instance, when a cryptocurrency gets created, the founders of the project usually form some sort of legal entity to launch and/or guide the cryptocurrency through its early stages. For instance, Ethereum was launched with a Swiss company and is still supported by the Ethereum Foundation, also based in Switzerland. But does that make Ethereum a Swiss cryptocurrency? I wouldn't really call it that. The founders were from many different countries, including the US, and many of the users, supporters, developers, and companies responsible for Ethereum's growth are based all over the world, many of them in the United States. And besides, many cryptocurrencies launch with Swiss-based entities due to the regulatory uncertainty in countries like the US. But what about Bitcoin? Is that an American cryptocurrency? Considering we don't even know the identity of its creator, Satoshi Nakamoto, it would be hard to say Bitcoin is an American cryptocurrency. Plus, there's never been a company in charge of Bitcoin, and people and organizations from all over the world have contributed to it. You might argue that since there are mining companies in America who help run and create new Bitcoin, then the Bitcoins they produce are American. But at the same time, the Kingdom of Bhutan has literally mined billions of dollars worth of Bitcoin. So is a Bitcoin mined by an American company more American than a Bitcoin mined by the Kingdom of Bhutan? And if so, should they be treated differently? And if you do want to treat them differently, like say no capital gains tax if you buy and sell American Bitcoin, how would you tell the different types of Bitcoin apart? You'd have to keep track of literally every single Bitcoin, which would be terrible for privacy and maybe break the Bitcoin network into separate pieces. So as you can see from the Ethereum and Bitcoin examples, there's a lot of nuance when trying to decide which cryptocurrencies are more American than others. But despite the complexity, I'd argue there's a pretty strong case to be made that if any cryptocurrency can be considered American, it's Zcash. Zcash was conceived at an American university, founded by an American company, is supported by American nonprofits, and represents American values. Let me explain. First, a little backstory on Zcash. Zcash was invented to fix cryptocurrency's widespread privacy problem. In most cryptocurrencies, the details of everyone's accounts and transactions are recorded on blockchains, which anyone can see. This creates a massive privacy problem that Zcash aims to solve. We made a whole documentary about Zcash, so check that out to learn more. To solve this privacy problem, Zcash combined blockchain with a new type of cryptography, zero-knowledge proofs. This project was first led by computer scientist Ian Myers at Johns Hopkins University in Baltimore, Maryland, USA.
The techniques that we need to use to actually solve this for serious, there is no privacy leakage, are quite complicated. Yeah, I mean, you literally need a PhD in cryptography to be able to work on this. Zcash was my PhD thesis. So we spent a fair amount of time trying to figure out a design, and then the hard part was actually implementing this to make it fast. And at the end result, it took 3 minutes to make a payment. So that's what academic work looks like. That's the difference between a paper and then the commercialized product.
Ultimately, the first Zcash prototype became an international project, with scientists from Johns Hopkins, MIT, and 2 Israeli universities working together. But the prototype they made was a long way from becoming a real-world cryptocurrency. That's when they turned to Zuko Wilcox, an American computer security expert and entrepreneur, to form a company to get Zcash off the ground.
So a little while later, he called me and I was so happy that he reached out to me. And he was like, we've been thinking about this thing, the Zero Cash idea. We'd really like it to become a real, industrial strength product or technology that anyone around the world can use the way Bitcoin is. And would you be interested in going in with us on this?
Zuko ultimately formed a company, raised money, and recruited a team. Although the team working on Zcash came from many different countries, the Zcash Company was based in Colorado, USA. They officially launched Zcash in 2016. The Zcash Company eventually became the Electric Coin Company, which still supports Zcash to this day. The team behind Zcash also created a nonprofit charity based in the US called the Zcash Foundation to help decentralize Zcash. Along with the Electric Coin Company, the Zcash Foundation develops software and promotes the global adoption of Zcash. One of the people who helped start the Zcash Foundation was Peter Van Valkenburg, Executive Director of Coin Center, an American nonprofit crypto policy organization.
I got involved with Zcash because Zuko randomly introduced himself to us. And Zuko said, well, these guys have sensible things to say about Bitcoin to people in government, so maybe I can go get some free advice and also help them explain my idea, Zcash. And then when Andrew Miller, who's the chairman of the Zcash Foundation, said, hey, Peter, I want to start a nonprofit that would help develop the Zcash ecosystem, build out a client independent of the company. I was like, well, that's a worthy thing. That's good, because no cryptocurrency should be beholden to one company for its software development. That's a bad idea. And so Andrew was like, do you want to be on the board with me? I was like, sure, cool. And then I ended up on the Zcash Foundation board.
So to review, Zcash was conceived and prototyped at an American university, launched by an American company, and currently has 2 nonprofit organizations based in America that support Zcash. Does that make Zcash an American cryptocurrency? In my opinion, it's not that simple, and frankly, it shouldn't be that simple. A cryptocurrency shouldn't belong to just one country. The whole point of cryptocurrencies is to not have any centralized points of failure. Like what happens if a country changes its political leadership and starts attacking crypto? If the cryptocurrency you're using to store your life savings or investing all your time and effort into building an app for, all of a sudden goes down the drain because a country can cancel it, then it's not really that great, is it? That's why, although Zcash started with just American organizations supporting it, it now has several organizations located outside the US to make sure it's not susceptible to any one country's politics. Furthermore, Zcash is run by a decentralized network of miners, which means that no one person or company can control Zcash. Changes to Zcash can only be made when a majority of the miners choose to incorporate changes in the Zcash software. So even though Zcash has a long history tied to America, it's run by a network of miners all over the world. Anyone with an internet connection can hold and use Zcash, and there are contributors from different countries. Does that mean I just totally contradicted the claim I made at the beginning of the video when I said Zcash should be at the top of the list of American cryptocurrencies? No, because as far as cryptocurrencies go, it has about as many ties to America as any. Furthermore, besides just the people and companies involved, Zcash is American in a different way. The right of the people to be secure in their persons, houses, papers, and effects against unreasonable searches and seizures shall not be violated, and no warrants shall issue but upon probable cause, supported by oath or affirmation, and particularly describing the place to be searched and the persons or things to be seized. That's the Fourth Amendment of the United States Bill of Rights. It is the right to privacy for all Americans and protects us against government overreach into our private lives. Now, our privacy has been seriously weakened over the years as technology has developed, and we made a whole video on that. But nonetheless, without the Fourth Amendment, America would have never been a thing. People back in 1789 literally would not have agreed to create America as we know it today without that right to privacy included from the start. And that right to privacy, that right to be in control of what you share, especially in a world where everyone is trying to get a hold of your data, is exactly what Zcash is trying to bring to the world.
So another foundational principle of the American democracy, enshrined in our Constitution's Fourth Amendment, is this right to not have a search or seizure of your home or personal effects without a warrant. And that's something that the Constitution promises us as Americans that we've roundly given up as we've moved our financial transactions online. And that's a problem. And that's why cryptocurrencies are important. That's why Zcash is important, is because it will hopefully give us the technology to make financial transactions online that can work without a third party, so that the third party doctrine no longer applies, so that if government wants to search transactional information about me and that transaction, they'll have to get a warrant.
So while it may not make sense to label a cryptocurrency itself as belonging to any particular country, Zcash not only has a long history of being pioneered by American people and institutions, but it is striving to make American values like privacy and freedom available to all. And this is why Zcash should be at the top of Trump's or anyone else's American crypto list.